Hi everyone, in this video I want to talk about interfaces, basically what an interface is and how you use them, why you use them. So for a moment, just put programming out of your mind and imagine this were an art class and I gave you a box of crayons and I asked you to draw a rainbow, a proper rainbow. You would just instinctively pick up the red crayon first and then draw a red arc, and then you would reach for the orange and draw an orange arc and so on. So we all have a basic understanding of what a rainbow should look like. And if you were to skip one of those colors, or more, a couple colors like the blue and the green, for example, then it's not a rainbow. It's not a proper rainbow. So basically, I've kind of mimicked that scenario in this program. I've created a rainbow interface, okay? And an interface is like a class, but a lot more, it's like a really stripped down, simplified version of a class. For example, we don't see any data members here. We don't even see method definitions. In this case, I only have 6. I'm missing the indigo, so just don't worry about that. But I have 6 method declarations here. No method definitions, no curly brace sandwich, no body in the method. So it's just like a really stripped down version of a class. And you can add an interface to your program just like you would add a class. You would right click on the project name and then do add new item, and then interface is one of the choices. And you just name it like you would. It'll get the CS extension just like a class. So that's how you can add an interface to your program. And so in this program, we have a form. What'll happen is the rainbow will be drawn directly on the form and at the pot of gold. The graphics is just not important to this discussion. It's all about the interface and implementing the interface. So basically, this is a good topic to talk about on the heels of inheritance, because the interfaces behave kind of like base classes, okay? But you don't inherit from an interface, you implement an interface. So I had our form implement, because we're drawing directly on the form, our form implements the IRainbow interface. That's what I called my interface, I forgot to mention. IRainbow. This is a homemade interface. I started it from scratch, but I gave it kind of a conventional name. You can name your interface anything, but you'll see in the framework class library that the interfaces tend to start with a capital I, so that's the naming convention I chose for this interface, is IRainbow. And getting into a broader discussion here, in later videos I'm going to talk about a couple of interfaces that come with the framework class library and that you would implement maybe in some of your programs, and as opposed to this little homemade interface that is kind of pointless. Okay, so I'm going to go to the form class, and so this form implements IRainbow. The form already inherits from system.windows.forms.form. I mean, that has always been there, but if you just put a comma at the end of that, you can add your interface. And so now this form implements the interface. And what does that mean exactly? And this is the whole point of having an interface, is that when a class, such as this form class, implements an interface, those methods that are listed in the interface, all of these here, draw red arc, draw orange arc, and so on, those methods absolutely must be defined in the class. Okay, so the point of an interface is that you're really holding your feet to the fire, holding the developer's feet to the fire. You're saying, okay, you can implement my interface, but here's the agreement. If you implement this interface, you have to define these certain methods. So in this case, we've got to define, I'll scroll all the way to the bottom here. We've got to define all of these draw methods, draw red arc, draw orange arc, and so on. And the methods themselves are not important. I'm not going to talk about the graphics aspect of this, but let me just prove a point here. I'm going to comment this one out, the red, okay? And now I've got errors here. Well, let me, up here, I hover over this, it says Form 1 does not implement interface member draw red arc. So I implemented the interface, but I didn't define every single method, okay, because the red is missing. And so now the program's not going to run. So it's again, your book might describe this as like when you implement an interface, you're making a contract with the compiler. Like, okay, I'm going to define these methods no matter what. All right. So so once we've implemented the interface and we have defined all the methods, then our program will run. And here, again, the graphics component of this is not important. It's really about the whole notion of an interface.